One of my favorite devices in 2021 was the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro 5G, and we reviewed that on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel and gave you our full long-term review on that. And it's time to give you our full long-term review of the follow-up to that device, the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G. This is a first for Xiaomi. They've dropped the Mi from the flagship branding, and the 11T Pro 5G is what is a true successor to the Mi 10T Pro 5G. It's a great smartphone that maybe makes a few cuts on the features of the Mi 11 series flagship devices to deliver an amazing value for money flagship class device at an affordable price. The 11T Pro 5G is a great all-round smartphone. It has a flat AMOLED display at the front with a dot in the top middle of the device. It has a curved glass back that ergonomically is very pleasant to use. It has an impressive set of cameras which may not quite be flagship grade depending on how you use them. And it has amazing performance and just as good battery life. So all round, a great smartphone. But let's look into the details. The Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset, the 2021 flagship chipset. And performance is great. Whether you're playing high-end games, editing video, taking lots of photographs in fancy AI modes, or more importantly, using your phone for social media, video streaming, or just plain old messaging and phone calls, the Xiaomi 11T is a great smartphone. I've had no issues with it whatsoever, no slowdowns, and the overall experience has been great. Key to that experience is the display at the front. The display on the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G is a 6.67-inch one. And that display is a Super AMOLED or AMOLED, OLED, call it what you want. It's an OLED screen which produces great colours, punchy colours, deep blacks, and is a pleasure to use all round. It's definitely an upgrade on the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro 5G, which was an LCD panel. And putting them side by side, the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G definitely stands out as a clear winner. We did a comparison video between the two smartphones. If you want to, you can go and have a look at that. But the OLED screen is definitely an upgrade, and it also allows Xiaomi to change the industrial design of the device to have a little bit less of a chin at the bottom, which makes the overall chassis of the phone slightly smaller and more easy to use one-handed. The 11T Pro 5G is a fantastic phone for media consumption thanks to that display. Colours, as I said, are punchy, and streaming video, watching video that you've downloaded from various services is very easy and fast, and I've had no issues with buffering provided you have the right network conditions. The 11T display, as we said, is great, and that is particularly noticeable when you're playing high-end games like Call of Duty Mobile. I've spent hours playing it on this device, mainly because it's the fastest performance, thanks to plenty of RAM, in this case 8 GB of RAM, and fast storage, but also more importantly, that network connectivity. Whether I'm playing on 3's 5G network or on my fast home Wi-Fi, I've had no issues whatsoever. And though this is probably wishful thinking, I'm probably performing better playing on this device than I would do on other ones. It is a true flagship in respect to its performance with gaming, the overall camera performance, though there is a bit of a trade-off when it comes to cameras. The 108 megapixel main sensor is maybe a little bit less capable than the true Xiaomi 11 series flagships because of the lack of optical image stabilization. That means that in low light it can struggle a little in some conditions. But overall, Xiaomi's MIUI software, in this case it's MIUI 12.5, does a great job in handling photos, capturing and editing through the extensive suite of features that are part of the package. In terms of the selfie camera, it takes pretty decent pictures with its 16 megapixel sensor, though they do suffer a little bit in low light. In terms of video recording, the 108 megapixel sensor on the back allows the device to record 4K at 60 frames per second, paired with that Snapdragon 888 chipset. Video is clear, though the stabilization, because of the lack of optical image stabilization, is noticeable. The Snapdragon 888 chipset also allows the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G to record video at 8K, though this is topped out at 30 frames per second. So if you do have a lovely 8K TV or monitor and want to make the most of your smartphone, that might be one way to do it. Otherwise, our Chief Aperture Officer, Lukasz, tells me that one of the useful features of 8K video is being able to crop down to 4K and stabilize it through software in post-editing. Speaking of MIUI 12.5, it is a consistent experience, great all round, and as with what we've seen with other Xiaomi devices, great in overall performance and fluidity. And surprisingly, maybe not to many, the updates to the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G have been consistent and not lagging too far behind the ones Google provide in terms of security updates. When it comes to the overall experience, MIUI is a known quantity to viewers of the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel. You have a consistent operating system with good theming and, more importantly, flexibility to ramp up certain features such as your screen resolution to save battery or not, and have a great overall smartphone experience. In terms of features, the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G has outstanding sound, and that comes from a stereo system which has output at both the top and the bottom and is tuned by Harman Kardon. So that's a well-known brand in many markets, which will give people an extra bit of interest in this smartphone. And fair enough, whilst playing games like Call of Duty Mobile, you're less likely to cover just the one mono speaker on one side of the phone thanks to this stereo speaker setup on the phone. So definitely a highlight there. In terms of battery life, when using the phone heavily for gaming, the battery life will last quite a few hours, but will need to be topped up before you go on with the rest of your day. Luckily, the fast charging on this phone is absolutely bonkers. You get 120 watt fast charging, which gives you a flat to full battery in less than 30 minutes. It is truly astounding, though this can cause a bit of extra heat, so I've avoided using it because, after all, we're in Scotland and we want to make sure we're always cold. But yes, 120 watt charging is a game changer, does away with the need for wireless charging, and definitely is hopefully something we'll see from more smartphones in the future. The Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G has a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, just as we've seen on quite a few other Xiaomi devices in the last couple of years. I particularly enjoy that type of fingerprint scanner, though in the 11T Pro 5G it's a normal button, rather than being slightly recessed as we've seen on other models. The Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G we purchased on Amazon here in the UK has 128GB of storage and 8GB of RAM. That is not expandable with microSD, so bear that in mind if you're considering buying one. It might be worth spending a little bit extra for the version with more storage. Value for money, the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G is a great all-round device. You get a flagship experience with maybe a little bit less of the design, a great overall camera, though it lacks optical image stabilization, and a very, very fast charger included in the box. The 120 watt fast charger is definitely a highlight of the phone, but I think the thing that surprised me the most was the quality of those two side speakers, which really do pack a punch and sound great. So you won't be limited to just headphones if you want a good sound experience whilst watching video on the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G. In terms of overall quality, I think this is a great smartphone and definitely a recommended buy. At this price point, which is around about £400 at time of publishing this video, you get a great all-round smartphone. And justifying spending almost double that for something that is marginally better is definitely difficult to do. So if you're looking for good value, the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G may be the smartphone for you. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. This was the Tech Travel Geek's long-term review of the Xiaomi 11T Pro 5G. If you'd like to see more smartphone reviews, but also gadgets, consumer electronics, and anything we think makes the travel experience better, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. For now, thanks for watching and goodbye from me.